Welcome back to another episode of Shark Talk, episode 12. And today I have a very special guest, the heartbeat of the Martha's Vineyard Sharks, none other, Miss Danielle Curran. Thank you for hiring me, and thank you so much for hopping on the show.
Thank you very much.
I mean, you've been here since day one, obviously. Watched this team grow from an ambitious summer ball startup to a championship caliber club. You've lived the highs, the long days, and obviously a few unforgettable behind-the-scenes moments. And for you, it's not just a business, it's family. You've cheered from the stands, worked behind the scenes, even watched your own son take the field and help bring home a championship. I mean, it's a really special perspective. I'm really, really excited to share it with you guys. And it's Danielle Curran. I mean, I don't know if that intro will do it justice, but I tried. So, engine that runs the Sharks and really one of the people that keeps this team running.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Now that that's out of the way, I can take a deep breath and settle in here. All right, so we always start every episode just talking about the vineyard. I've talked to college kids who have came here for their first or second summer. You are a much different perspective, right? Obviously, you've been here for some time. So, I mean, just kind of what is your relationship with this island, and just kind of how would you describe the place that this community is?
My relationship to the island is my aunt and uncle lived over here, so I spent a lot of time growing up, summer, school vacations, family vacations and stuff. So that's really how I first knew about the vineyard and all that. And as far as like the baseball part of it, I honestly got tricked into it by Russ Curran, not gonna lie. He thought it would be a 5-year plan, brought me over to maybe, look at a house to see if we could help out with the team. He'd since been retired from the state, and little did I know the whole time he'd already signed a lease and basically had the U-Haul packed and ready to go. So it was either jump on board or not.
Yeah.
So baseball was not foreign to me. My son played summer ball and college ball and everything, so that's it.
Yeah, no, I mean, and obviously now that you've spent that time here, like you kind of get a little bit of an unexpected introduction really to living here full time.
Correct.
Now that you've spent like an elongated amount here, just like what do you recognize that is special about this place? I mean, for me, like I'm a summer kid, I recognize how unique it is just because like, I mean, there's no place like it, right? It's small. My best friends are here. There's no chain restaurants. Like, just a very special, reserved place.
Yes.
I'm interested to hear about just kind of how that's different for you.
Um,
I'm putting you on the spot.
You're not putting me on the spot. I am more than grateful for everything. I would say, though, me being here full time is based solely on the Sharks. Like,
right.
I don't have, outside of the Sharks, I don't have a pull to any community ties, or a lot of my family's off island and all that,
right?
Which is fine. So my basic tie to the island is kind of just like May to August.
Yeah.
As far as like my full time.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's definitely still a special place. I mean, I don't know. I mean, even living here for a couple months in the off season is a wild time just because how different it is. All right, let's get into the baseball though. Finally, so basically, you've been here since 2017. Really, you onboarded. What were those first couple summers like for the Sharks, and what was your introduction into really helping run this team?
I'm hyper organized, which, with all due respect, Russ Curran is not. So he needed somebody kind of behind the scenes, I think. Inventory, hiring kids, game day activities, and things like that. And so I could kind of bring the kids in under my wing more as like a mama bear as opposed to Russ just thinking they kind of knew what they were doing.
Yeah.
So it just kind of took over that way. I think that my personality is just kind of like organized, and 90% of the kids that come here, plays included, it's not just about baseball or internships or whatever. You have to cover everything. A lot of these kids are, homesick. They have family they've been away from. A lot of them come from college right here. They need more than just that, you know what I mean? I'm the one that makes sure that they, have a meal or get somewhere on time, or, whatever they're going through, portal things, stuff like that, that I'm the one that, figures that all out. You know what I mean? ER visits, everything. So
I mean, and that had to be like a bit of a culture shock in itself, right? To kind of be like a mom to a summer son for like a little bit. To all of a
sudden 45 kids.
Right. And so just, what was that transition? I mean, because like obviously you've got more time under your belt now. You have more experience in how to handle it. But what was it like for the very first couple experiences?
I think the first few years, because I hosted boys too.
Yeah.
So I had like double the job because I was their host mom and then I was a team mom and stuff like that. So, it really wasn't anything new. I come from a very big family. Mac, my son, is an only child, so he always had 5 or 6 kids with him during Little League, AAU, anything. So I was always the one that had the kids.
Yeah.
So it wasn't really any different trying to keep that organized. I mean, the personality conflicts, I will say, is sometimes a little challenging, but, do the best I can.
Yeah, absolutely. Doing a pretty decent job. I mean, how have you seen the kids grow? How has your relationship, like, just with them grown over the couple of years? And just like not even mostly just that, but like as the team has grown and the organization from 2017 to 2020 to really like a big jump in 2021, like what has been the biggest difference and what has the journey been like? I mean, it's hard for me to kind of cover all this in one question because it's like 4 years of growth and I mean a lot of hard work you guys are putting in.
Yeah, the hard work is 100% everybody's involvement. This community, our host families, our sponsors, our interns. It's a group effort from day one. We are beyond blessed with our fans and the community. And I think when it first started, you're talking about maybe at most 200 or 300 people a night.
Yeah.
And there were some nights we didn't even have that many. In the last few years, it's thousands of people a night.
Yeah.
It's a safe thing to come to. Kids can run around.
Yeah.
It's inexpensive, things like that. And I think that the team, the boys that have come, are more dependent and have involved me more in the last few years, as opposed to me just being the one that's in the food shack or handing out their uniforms or stuff. They really reach out a lot more. I've felt a much more sense of family in the last 8 years, on and off the field, year long. They're reaching out and talking, updating me on things they've done in their personal lives and stuff.
Yeah.
So it's definitely, I have learned far more and benefited far more from all of you kids than I've ever given back.
Yeah. I mean, it's so interesting because you're trying to juggle so many things at one time, right? And then, I mean, it's a very special relationship that, I mean, no other summer ball league team is really like have almost parents as the owners of the team. And like that's the situation with the Martha's Sharks. But it's not only that, like you guys have literally built like a family-esque environment. And it starts at the top, which, I mean, you're explaining right now. I'm just curious, like, if you could talk about, like, just kind of how that pays back tenfold. Like, I mean, you try to have as much grace with these young kids as possible, and I'm sure there have been some bumps along the way. So just kind of like, how much is it paid back to just really continue to push the love and relationship?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely, and I know for a fact that you can speak on this. I am tough. You know, out of love, though. You know what I mean? I've definitely come across some problem situations, but, you know, I handle them all the same.
Right.
As much as I would have a kid's back, I will absolutely call them out on it as well, because I can't have that type of environment. You know, there's so many personalities. Not everybody's always going to get along, and that's okay. You know, they can go to their own corners. Yeah. But from day one, you know, we absolutely do not put up with any bull. Like, it is... That's just not how it's going to go. Yeah. I want them to live here. I want them to have a great time. But, you know, there's rules to follow, and it's just that simple. As far as kids at my house, it seems like being the house that has, like, the layover, like maybe going to be there for 1 or 2 nights, and then they'll go to a host family. They don't seem to leave. You know, the summer of 2022, I had 7 kids that were temporary. You know,
stayed until August.
Yes, and that's the thing too. A lot of the kids after, like, you know, Will Ibrook, perfect example. Yeah. Last couple summers, he's like stays for like a week after, and it's amazing. I mean, I get very emotional. Yeah. Try not to now, but you know, the goodbyes get harder.
Yeah.
I think
exactly.
Especially when they're not going to be returning
right.
as a Sharks player.
And especially a guy like William Librook. I mean, he's a great example, right? He's been with the Sharks for 2 years. I mean, All-Star tour, or was in the All-Star festivities both times. Great player, but more so like the person that he is off the field. Like you get the firsthand seat of seeing these kids come to the summer. I mean, they're chasing their dream of baseball. And if they stay focused, it's such a special bond that they create with this place, which is what makes this this team and this place really so unique,
Yeah.
in my opinion. So, not to cut you off,
No,
but I mean,
please,
it's
that's
just
fine.
like there's so many examples that it's hard for me to really tell to the viewers because I mean we've been watching it all summer, but to tell it here in a couple words is not easy. But I mean, the examples are out there, and luckily we've gotten to talk to a few of these guys. All right, I'm gonna stop yapping so hard for a second and just switch gears over towards your son. So Matt Curran is kind of how you get involved with the Martha's Vineyard Sharks. In a sense, a bit of an unorthodox introduction for him to the team. Russ Curran, it happens. He plays for them for a couple years, and then he makes the switch to coach.
Yes.
What did you see the maturity change in him there, and what was that like?
Mac, I think, had to make a difficult decision after college because, his body was so beat up. And he had already had Tommy John, in his freshman year and stuff. So I think him pursuing more of a baseball career was kind of an emotional thing for him.
Right.
So he transitioned into the coaching, which our coaching staff has always been wonderful. You know what I
Right.
mean? So I witnessed him go into coaching. I learned a lot from that because, he's an only child, and I never got to see that part of him as far as being a difference, just like Jay Mendez and young boys.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They definitely made an impression and helped a lot of these boys very much with concerns with their baseball careers and things like that. I've witnessed many, many emotional conversations with players and Mac and Jay, helping them make decisions when they've been here in the summer and they get a call and they get cut,
Right.
and it's too late to enter the portal. So, I think fully, other than them being baseball coaches, they were really there, like big brothers, and that makes me so incredibly proud of my son.
Yeah. No, and then I mean, you get the perfect ending, right? His last year of coaching.
Perfect ending.
He gets to win the championship on the home field.
Yes.
What was that like? What was that moment like?
So, Cam Hill and Jaden Jackson were Tommy Bramley were all living with me that summer as well. 3 very significant players in that game. And I will tell you, I could not have been prouder of those kids. And that afternoon, which was game 2, Cameron Hill was like, just so you know, we're not going back to Vermont. I was like, well, I like that attitude and stuff. He goes, no, Mama, listen to me. We are not going back to Vermont. So I would say one of my favorite moments is the game we won. I had left.
Okay.
I left.
Really?
I went home in the 7th inning because every game that year, when we were losing and I went home, we came back to win. So
What was the score when you left? Do you remember?
we were down by 2.
Okay.
And so I left. And the next thing I know, Russ called and he was like, Logan Chambers just tied the game or something like that. And I said, okay, I'll head back. So I head back and I pulled in. As I pulled into the lot, Colin Shapiro was waiting for me.
Okay.
And he grabbed me and picked me up and he carried me flying because I had missed the last out from Cameron Hill. So it was phenomenal.
Yeah.
And the boys were there and my 3 boys came up to me and they were like, we got something for you. I said, what's that? It's like, we got the ball. So I was like, there's so many. The coaches, Russ, John Roberts could deserve this ball. And the team was like, nope, we're giving it to you. So definitely one of the highlights.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, going over to a low light on the topic of championship games, Sharks just come off a brutal ending. I really hate talking about it. I mean, it hurts. Obviously, you live this team more than I do, and I'm as involved as I can be for 2 months, right? But this is not, you're only here for the summer, but it's really like this is a year-round thing. And like I can't imagine how watching a 10-run blown lead in the last 2 innings of game 1. I have to update the Shark Tank viewers. So we were up 12-2 in game 1 in Keene, New Hampshire. It was 12-5 heading into the 9th inning, and it was 12-6 with 2 outs. And drop fly ball, shallow right field, just unimaginable stuff. I've been watching sports a long time, and that was just heartbreaker. Like,
Absolutely.
it's not often you finish a game and everybody is still in disbelief of what happened. There's only a few instances, and so just like, can you kind of try to take me like through that emotion, watching that, like just watching the slow eventual, just like gut wrenching stab to the heart. It's a brutal question, but it's the only way I can really think to phrase it.
I would say honestly that my only concern, and absolutely honest about this, was the well-being of the boys.
Right.
There was not one boy on that team, on that field that night, that ever thought, it would end like that.
Right.
But I also didn't want them pitting against each other. We lost as a team.
Right.
We literally beat ourselves. That's exactly what happened. There's no one to blame for it. So their ride home, I needed to make sure that they were all okay.
Right.
And the next day, I don't know if you know, we had a little team meeting and stuff, and I just said to them, you guys tell me where you're at. If we're checked out, then we're checked out.
Yeah.
Then let's just go out there tonight, have a home game, and call it a summer. But if you're willing to fight, then I'm right here with you.
Yeah.
And I think that's, again, what is most important to me, is their well-being. Yeah, I love to win, don't get me wrong, but that night, especially with that type of loss, was not the most important thing. Right. That's not what I was focused on.
I mean, and that's such a valuable perspective, because not like 99% of people are trying to wrap their head around that loss, right? And, I mean, you're immediately onto the more important topic.
And it didn't end the next night, 7-0.
Right, and I was going to say, they did come out and fight in that second game. Max Coffer hit his 4th home run in 4 games.
Mm-hmm.
They go up 7-0 in the first 2 innings. They hold that lead into the 5th. Mm-hmm. And then, I mean, it's a unfortunate twist to summer ball, how, a revolving door these rosters have really been, just because, I mean, we've had a bunch of bullpen arms, a bunch of bullpen all-stars that were just unable to pitch. This is not me making excuses, it's just trying to fill in the
No, you're
fans.
absolutely right. Those are facts.
I mean, it's wild, the way that this is. I'm not sure how many players were rostered, but teams all across the NECBL lost. Like, the Bristol Blues we played in the first round lost 26 guys.
Exactly.
It's like, how are you supposed to win a championship?
You can't. And the thing is, I look at my interns, my fans, my sponsors, my coaches, our host families. Everybody commits to this,
Right.
which is really our biggest ask.
Right.
But it's really what we need. If things come up, I understand that, but we really you just need that commitment as a whole.
Right. And I mean, that's you're not going to win a championship unless you have that commitment,
Mm-hmm.
right? You saw it with Keene.
Yes.
Unfortunately. All right, I'm done being on the sad train. This is terrible. It's very unfortunate. I mean, it was a great year, obviously.
Yeah, it was a fantastic year. And, winning the South.
That's what I was going to say. I mean, winning the South Division, beating the Newport Gulls.
Okay, I'm
fall
glad you
behind
brought it up.
14. I'm going to bring it up.
I'm glad you brought it
we'll
up.
We'll talk about this much
that was
longer
my
than
championship.
So
That was
Newport
mine.
Gulls, you could call us rivals. We take the first 2 games of the regular season. They beat us by a combined score of 31-4 in the last 4 games of the regular season. And then we get slated up in the semifinals to go to the championship in the South Division. Game 1, get smoked, 14-7. Game 2 at the Shark Tank, everything's on the line. Gutsy win. Look dominant thanks to some help from the pitching. And then it's Game 3 at Cardines Field, where nobody's expecting them to win. The New Gulls were 20-5 at home.
Correct.
Going up to that point, they were 18-5 in Game 3s all time. And so the odds are stacked against them. And what do the Sharks do? They punched them in the mouth and they didn't look back. Gulls waited to save their best pitcher until relief, and it was too late by then because they were already down 6-3, and they came close with the bases loaded and 2 outs.
Oh, yeah, there was a lot of holding the breath, a lot of emotion.
Yeah.
Nobody left the position where they were sitting when we were ahead in the house.
Yeah.
Everybody was,
Yeah.
yeah.
And that's a sign of a real, journeyed fan, because that is never sweet, especially when you're up.
No, we met you guys at the boat.
Yeah.
A lot of the guys.
Right, and
you guys
with fire trucks.
Yep.
Yeah.
Beat Newport. So, again, just a mini championship.
Yeah. I mean, but it's a championship in itself. And
Absolutely.
I mean, also just some of the guys that were on the roster this year are really, really special people.
Mm-hmm.
And it's what makes the Martha Sweden Sharks Martha Sweden Sharks.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm pretty much getting through it. I mean, I've been talking your ear off for some time now, but I really appreciate the opportunity. I mean, this is so special that we get to bring the story of the Sharks via different platforms. I mean, whether it's, wherever, on the Gazette, in the newspaper, I mean,
You've done a great
on the
job,
podcast.
Evan.
And it's been an incredible year. I mean,
Yeah.
because last year was definitely an experience, and I got to see not all the highs, right? I mean, they finish whatever and losing the first round of the playoffs, and it's just falling apart of summer ball. I just want to talk about just kind of the dynamic of summer baseball a little bit, just because I mean these guys are coming off in a lot of situations their entire college seasons,
Yes.
and so it's a marathon game, but obviously baseball is a mental game. It's amplified that much more considering the fact that they have to stay mentally locked in and fully committed to a team for 7 months. Mm-hmm. So just I mean, what have you seen? How have you seen this evolve over the last couple of years in terms of the commitment that the new era of college athletics has really taken a toll on.
Yeah, it's changed quite a bit with kids. I think this year, I want to say the majority of our team came in at one school and left going
Right.
to a different
Yeah.
school. I would have to say, I don't even know if there were 3 kids that didn't go in,
Probably not.
which is usually kind of a rule that we don't do that, just because unfortunately, if they're going to leave in the middle of the season once they're committed and things like that, there's a lot we have to juggle.
Right.
And that being said, I think mentally, a lot of these kids, again, that's my biggest challenge,
Yeah.
because they're coming in, they're sideswiped that they're getting cut from a program,
Right.
whether it be Clemson or Vandy or not, and now they're trying to put themselves out there, and the last thing they're focused on is a summer ball game.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
They are not, so I have to make sure that we can help navigate them through that, because it is a mental game, especially the pitching staff.
Yeah.
You can tell. And there was kids this year that once they committed somewhere, they were wonderful. They had self-confidence back. They were out on the mound. They did great, So, I mean, I think mentally in the last few years, much more challenging, especially like, the NIL and being able to go from one college to another and never really putting roots down anywhere. So it's made it very difficult.
I mean, this could be an entire podcast, not even just an episode, talking about this.
Oh,
I mean, because these are 18-year-old children that are dealing with real money and real consequences, and their entire futures are on the line, and they have to make the decision in a place they've never been before, focusing on something else.
And I've seen that. I've physically seen their mental, and it's just not okay.
Yeah.
Like I feel bad, and I know that it's difficult decisions, and I've seen a lot of the boys, they struggle with it. So
Right.
it's a lot to keep them focused and make sure they're okay.
Absolutely. Well, they did a decent job this year. I mean, it's not easy, but I mean, you don't just win the South Division for without a
New
mental
coaching
commitment.
staff and everything.
Yep, exactly. Persevered through.
Yeah.
All right, I just want to talk about the Shark Tank environment a little bit. We touched on it slightly, but I mean, it's such a family just atmosphere, as I was kind of alluding to earlier. How special is that for you to see, I mean, probably 500, 800 children running around, signing autographs, making these collegiate players feel like big leaguers, running after every foul ball? I mean, we're more tapped into like children in races or mini games in between innings than any other team in the NECBL, and that's special. So I kind of like, obviously you've fostered this family environment with the Sharks. Just your perspective on how unique and special that is.
Yeah, I love that the communities and families can come, and I think one of the best things I've ever heard, and I hear this a lot, people plan their vacations around a Shark schedule. Like, they will see when we have a home stretch of games, and that's when they come over here to go on vacation, so that they can make as many games as they can from all over.
Yeah.
So that's heartwarming to know that they're planning a summer vacation based on what we're offering them.
Yeah.
With the food truck and the apparel and the kids' games and things like that. So, yeah, it's
Sweet.
great.
All right, I'm just gonna ask you a couple mini questions, and then I will get you out of here finally.
No worries.
If you had to pick one memory that was potentially the funniest experience you've seen out of a player that can be podcastable, or even just a favorite memory that's not necessarily like just a high of the highs, but just something like you saw the little joys in. Is there anything that stands out in particular? So there's a lot to go through, and it's hard because once you start telling a story, you don't realize how deep it
I'm
could
trying
actually go.
Yeah, exactly. So picking my thoughts very carefully. I honestly don't have one favorite memory.
Yeah.
I mean, there's so many that actually lead to another.
Right.
So some could be talked about and some not. So I'm pretty sure that I will say the All-Star in 2022, we hosted the All-Star game.
Yeah.
That was great. As far as like my team coming together, the players coming together, was a lot to do.
Right.
And things like that. But I honestly do not have one favorite memory.
Yeah. It's hard. I mean, there's been a lot.
I have a couple of not so favorite memories, but yeah.
Definitely memorable ones. We'll leave it at that.
Yes.
All right. If you could describe not the Sharks team that was this year, but just kind of the organization overall in 3 words. If you had to pick 3 words to describe it as best as you could, this is definitely me putting you on the spot.
That's okay.
What would they be?
3 words to describe. I would say a lot of work.
There you go. That's all three right there.
That's 4, but yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, but it's just like obviously your perspective is so unique because you're putting in the work all summer through a really tough off season where you don't get to see any of the work really come to fruition at all in front of you. How do you kind of keep your head down in the off months and keep the main thing the main thing?
Yeah, I think unlike Russ, I will put it to bed within the next week. The field will be shut down, have some hires for next year already and things like that, and then that's it. Until, I'll watch college ball in the spring, things like that. We'll make a few trips to see some of the boys. But other than that, I completely shut it off because I just, mentally need to be in full swing come April or May. So it's just easier to shut it down and go from there.
It's definitely a swing once you get started in May.
It absolutely is,
Definitely a fun time, though. Very memorable. I'm never going to forget hanging up the banners on the outfield wall. And, I mean, that's not even a sliver of the work that gets done. I mean, transform the Vineyard Baseball Park into the Shark Tank, going from the...
Yeah, and it's different for you because last year compared to this year where your role increased, lucky for us that we have you and stuff. But we were painting in the rain last year, remember?
Yes.
Trying to organize things like that, which is like the nitty-gritty of it, you know what I mean, which is behind the scenes that the interns do.
Moving the mulch.
Yeah, exactly. Mulch, painting, all that. So people don't see that part, which I would love for them to understand that what it's like. Sponsors, community, host families, everybody's behind the scenes pulling this all together. Yeah. So
that's incredible. I mean, it's a great way to end the episode. Every one I end with just giving the guest kind of a platform to really talk about what you want. Spread any message. It's just, your time. It's a free for all. Definitely putting you on the spot once again, but that's the nature of podcasts.
No, I words don't describe like how thankful I am for everybody. Again, behind the scenes, host families, sponsors, the fans, the interns. You've been on both sides of it. What it's like you're either moving water or moving mulch or painting, and then when the dust settles, you're up in the box broadcasting, and a lot of people don't see what happens before those gates open, and it never could without the help of everybody, absolutely everybody.
No, absolutely. Danielle Curran is obviously the heartbeat that makes this entire thing go around. She's where it all starts, and we are so thankful. I'm so thankful to be a part of this family.
Very thankful for you.
It's been very incredible. Thank you so much. That'll do it. Episode 12 of Shark Talk. We're making moves. Stay tuned. And a huge thank you to Martha's Vineyard Community Television for making this episode of Shark Talk possible.